I had planned to ask you if the biblical Tower of Babel ever actually existed, but I think our archaeologists have done a good job tracing the inspiration for the story back to the Edaminaki structure dedicated to the deity Marduk, built in the center of the city Babylon by Nebuchadnezzar II about 2,600 years ago, and then destroyed by Alexander the Great about 250 years later. Do you know if this is the likely inspiration for the Bible story?
No, incorrect. There are some
So,
truths to it. Heard. There are years there was a war between different members of what you consider extraterrestrial factions. Marduk was taking over a region. He was building something like an own empire of his own, rebelling against other groupings. Alexander came much later. There was a conflict between Alexander and different Babylonians. However, we don't want to create the confusion that there are certain countries or empires that are aligned with the Federation or the Empire of us. Yes? That's a crossover simplification. We are just using this as a point of reference. So, this being said, Rome and Babylon were under the control of the empire to a large degree. Greece and ancient Israel were to a large degree controlled by the Federation. But it's a general statement. Over the course of history, those different regions were controlled by other factions over and over again, with power shifting back and forth. You have those different groups being aligned, therefore being used as proxies many times without their own knowledge. The Alexander person, for example, was influenced by the empire to a large degree, came on much later. Also, don't take lightly the influence the Persians had in certain regions. Obviously, they were also influenced by different groups. Take a look at their own religion before they became Muslim. Their own religion were pertaining to different groupings of a lighter or darker perspective, also obviously pertaining to the influence both the Federation of Aryan Service and we had on their own history. Now, the idea with this particular conflict you're having was mostly between different groups in the empire itself. The Marduk person also had a problem with us to a certain degree. We don't get to heat it here, it's still completely resolved. But obviously was also to a large degree aligned with our own factions, but we also have our own conflict within the empire. It was something like a rebellion, like a fifth column or something, but more similar to us now, but even to a large degree going against the control of the empire. But obviously it wasn't going anywhere. We're not quite sure what's the individual even thinking with the approach yet. Yes? What are you... Just a stupid rebellion from our perspective, and Willie wasn't destined to go anywhere.
was he a human or what?
He was mixed, yes. He was more reptilian than human from your perspective. He would look very reptilian to you.
Okay.
He wasn't a member of your own race and was worshipped as a god or anything. He was extraterrestrial from your own interpretation. From the Empire, he would not be considered a full reptile, but by your definition, he would likely would be, yes.
So where was the Tower of Babel located and who built it?
Babylon, yes. The city of Babylon.
Again, I know time is malleable, but can you say like roughly how long ago it was built and how long ago it was destroyed and how it was destroyed?
It took thousands of years to build. Used massive amount of slaves. It went much, much more than what you think it is. It's still being worshipped by many members of your Illuminati families who aligned themselves with it. Take it to look at the AU Parliament, for example. It's a temple, basically. Many of those groups are not trying to expand upon the energy we created there. Just like many of the Freemasonic sects are trying to integrate Egyptian iconography.
But again, like how many years ago roughly was it destroyed and how?
Approximately 5,000. Very roughly.
Do you know how tall it was? I mean, did it really reach like into the clouds like the Bible describes?
It's a metaphor. There were ships going on and off, certain spaceships going on and off certain spaceports that the tower was used for.
So do you know like in terms of feet how tall it was?
A few kilometers at least. It was like something like a skyscraper.
Wow.
But it was more than just a tower.
How was it destroyed? Like, why? Who destroyed it?
Energetic weaponry was used. So this case wasn't nuked. The idea there was much in the city was supposed to get kept intact, so it was being caused like an earthquake, but artificially created. Energetic beams were sent like a plasma wave. We described this weapon earlier. Something similar was used on your twin towers in the United States when they were brought down. There are obviously also many nukes employed, but the idea is also that the entire region was destabilized by something like a pulsar weapon that goes inside the tower and then goes off inside. We can use a metaphor, much more primitive. You have some anti-tank weapon, yes? An anti-tank weapon that hits the tank from the outside, the bullet goes inside, then explodes. You also have a much smaller weapon you can fire with your fist handheld weaponry, yes? We believe you're calling them. We're looking the vessel's mind. One moment. We can't find a proper military term in the English language, but bullets that explode once they're under hollow point weaponry, yes? Does this term ring a bell? Bullets, projectiles that go off after they enter the physical body and then ripping the organs apart, or your tank weaponry, a bullet that goes to the tank and then explodes inside the tank, kill everybody inside without necessarily destroying the tank. But the plasma type weaponry obviously intended to go through any shell that's more physical in the tower, going off in the tower, ripping the tower apart from the inside. Bigger things have been used by us, by the Empire in very emergency scenarios that can blow entire planes by throwing up the core.